It's a sunshiny kind of day here in Detroit on Tuesday, March 26th, 2019. And this is an update edition of Your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. I'm Sven Gustin.
And I'm Jer Stays. From the Detroit Shipping Company studios of Podcast Detroit, let's dive right in. Longtime Oakland County Executive L. Patterson says he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer and will not seek an 8th term in 2020. Patterson noted it's the same disease that Jeopardy host Alex Trebek recently announced he has. The survival rate is 11%, but Patterson says he intends to be one of the ones who walks away. Patterson is 80. The Republican made the announcements today at the county office building named after him in Waterford. He has served 7 terms as county executive, and he spent 16 years as Oakland County prosecutor. He has been undergoing treatment at the Karmanos Cancer Institute. Patterson will be taking a previously scheduled vacation and time to heal, but he says he plans to return to work. In the meantime, Deputy County Executive Gerald Poisson will be handling day-to-day operations. Poisson has been Patterson's right-hand man for years. He's in charge of a litany of departments and initiatives. Patterson has been a controversial figure both in and outside of Oakland County. Oakland County is one of, if not the strongest counties in the nation from a government finance perspective, running 3-year budgets and having high credit ratings. On the other hand, many critics believe that this is at the detriment of surrounding communities, as Oakland County for years was the primary beneficiary of the region's pattern of sprawl without population gain. Patterson has also made a series of incendiary and racially insensitive remarks over the years. Patterson and his driver were seriously injured in a car crash in 2012 in Auburn Hills. The incident briefly left Patterson in a coma, left him hospitalized for weeks, and forced him to use a wheelchair. It left his driver as a quadriplegic. Patterson also lost his son in a snowmobiling accident in 2008.
You know, Jer, this is really sad news. I just wanted to say, I interviewed Brooks many times in my past. I used to work at the Oakland Press, right there in Pontiac. So, he was frequently around for a quote. And I always enjoyed speaking with him, talking with him, even though I, personally didn't always agree with him and haven't over the years. But just really sad news. And, I think we just can both agree that we send him our best wishes. Measles is spreading in Oakland County, which now has 18 reported cases, according to the Oakland County Health Division. This is up from the handful we had previously reported, and part of a nationwide trend as more than 300 cases have been reported. On a recent episode of Daily Detroit, we spoke with a Beaumont infectious disease specialist all about precautions, and we'll link to that in the show notes. Oakland County health officials say 970 people have received vaccinations in just the last 2 days. This outbreak was started by a traveler from Israel who came to Metro Detroit through New York City. Measles is spreading in Oakland County because the county has a lower immunization rate. Nearly 5% of Oakland County residents are not vaccinated, and that comes close to the number where so-called herd immunity becomes ineffective, and those who haven't been vaccinated are at a much higher risk. Previously, the exposure points were limited to mostly religious institutions, but they now include a Meijer and Aldi store. There's also now a pop-up vaccination clinic in Oak Park. We'll link to more information from Oakland County on dailydetroit.com.
DTE Energy says it expects to sign a deal this week with the city that would see it transfer property it owns on the Detroit Riverfront for use as part of a new Jeep assembly plant. The Freep reports that under the deal, DTE would swap most of its 75-acre Connors Creek property, the site of a decommissioned power plant on the East Riverfront. In return, it would gain city-owned land where it would build substations, transformers, service centers, and other assets. Jeep's parent company, Fiat Chrysler, announced plans last month to build a new assembly plant on the city's east side to manufacture the next-generation Grand Cherokee and an all-new 3-row Jeep SUV, part of a $2.5 billion investment in several Detroit area plants. The plan hinges on the city cobbling together about 200 acres of land. FCA has said it needs the Connors Creek site to store vehicles built at the new plant. The property is also home to the Edison Boat Club, which has been there for 105 years and features 2 buildings, a restaurant, a 110-slip marina, and a sailing school. The plan is to demolish it at the end of the summer.
Jer, I don't think many of the stories that are published so far have really gone here, but I think this is a terrible deal. Not only, I mean, you mentioned the Edison Boat Club, a historic boat club, 105 years. It's private. I think it's actually I had never heard of it until today, but it's for like DTE, like retirees and employees or something, right?
Yeah, it has a long history in the boating community, and it's definitely something I want to dig into a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we would lose that. Also, a year or two ago, there was a beaver dam found in that canal that enters that property from the Detroit River, and it was believed that, that indicated the first time beavers were confirmed in the Detroit River in like a century, which is pretty significant. More importantly, I mean, we're talking about essentially turning this prime real estate on the Detroit Riverfront into a parking lot. I mean, let's be frank. That's what it is. It's a parking lot for a private company.
And a parking lot that people don't actually use. It's just for cars.
No, it's not like you'd be able to go park your car there. It's for, like, I presume it means, FCA wants it for Jeeps that are, freshly built from the factory to store them there until it ships them out across the country. I want to point out that DTE had been soliciting redevelopment bids for that property. They'd made a lot of noise about, trying to solicit, innovative bids to how we're going to redevelop this site. They haven't been using it to generate power for a couple decades.
And there was even an art installation recently, I think in the fall, that with all this light and everything, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Back in late 2017, it hosted an international conference of urbanists. And they actually, escorted them onto the site and got them to talk about, ideas for redeveloping and everything. So this feels really like cheap to give it away for something like this. And it also just reminds me, I mean, it's another example yet again, just like Amazon or Foxconn in Wisconsin, where, the minute a big company comes in and dangles the prospect of jobs and investment, in this case, I mean, it's part of $2.5 billion in investments at a bunch of plants around Detroit area. I think 5,000 jobs just at this new plant in Detroit alone. You come in and do that, and, cities are just basically willing to give up the store.
How many years did those parking lots sit outside of the General Motors Renaissance Center? They're still sitting there now, actually.
There's still a lot of parking lots.
There's still a ton of parking lots there. Why is it that we think that our highest and best use for land near the riverfront, where pretty much everywhere else in the world, we would want to encourage people to be there? And the Detroit Riverwalk's doing great things, but come on, parking lots? Really?
That's terrible. I'm not happy with this deal at all.
Multiple media outlets are reporting that the FBI's Violent Gang and Violent Crime Task Forces raided the Detroit Renegades Motorcycle Club's headquarters on 8 Mile near John R. today. It's believed that this may be part of a larger federal crackdown on drug dealing, racketeering, and violent crime that has ensnared local motorcycle clubs over the last few years. The FBI did not share what the investigation is focused on. As of this recording, there were no arrests. Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by the Rattlesnake Club. It's open for lunch, dinner, or small plates. Enjoy views of the international skyline and the Detroit Riverwalk. The Rattlesnake features a seasonal menu of locally sourced ingredients, daily happy hour specials, and an award-winning wine list. Make your reservation today at rattlesnakedetroit.com.
Here's a cool little nod to one of Detroit's legendary retail establishments, John King Books. The website Mental Floss named it the best bookstore in Michigan as part of a list of the best bookstores in all 50 states.
The site suggests you grab a map when you get there, but I personally like to get lost for an afternoon.
Remember what that was like, getting lost in a bookstore? Here's another nod for a local business. This time, it's one of the top 50 whiskey bars in the nation. Yelp singled out Motor City Gas in downtown Royal Oak. It opened in 2015, and you'll find it on East 4th Street. Jerry, you been to Motor City Gas?
Nope.
Me neither. Guess maybe it's time, huh?
Yeah. Quicken Loans Demo Day is back for a third year. The competition, and submissions are now open, will award a total of $1.2 million across 7 awards and funding for small businesses in Detroit. 15 finalists will be chosen to pitch their businesses live on stage at the Fillmore on Friday, June 14th. The funding will be delivered as a grant, interest-free loan, or an equity investment ranging from $50,000 to $300,000. The audience at the Fillmore will also take an active role in the competition, voting on 3 People's Choice grant recipients. To learn more, I chatted with James Chapman. He's an entrepreneur in residence at Rock Ventures and part of pulling all of this together. How did you get involved with this program?
I've been involved since the beginning. when we first decided to do Detroit Demo Day, it was me and a few others on the team that started to ideate what Demo Day could look like, feel like, be like. And the idea grew, and we realized that it was a real need to be able to provide capital for small businesses in Detroit. But not only do that, because we could do that without making it a competition, but we wanted to have a celebration of entrepreneurs in Detroit. And so what better way than to host a big Demo Day / pitch competition where entrepreneurs can not only walk away with anywhere between $50,000 and $300,000, but they can also do it on a platform where all of Detroit can come out and watch this happen, be inspired. If you're a budding entrepreneur looking to start a business, be inspired by the competition and say, oh, wow, there's really opportunities that are out there for Detroiters to be able to get capital for their business, right? If they can do it, I can do it too, sort of a thing. But even if they aren't interested in getting money for their business, just be able to celebrate Detroit-based companies or those companies that are committed to relocate. So I've been around since the very beginning and had that idea. And it's kind of come to life, and we're excited about doing it for the third time around.
I know I've been to a couple of the celebrations before. What kind of on-the-ground impact have you seen around this competition and kind of the businesses that it's helped spawn and push forward?
The impact has been tremendous. We've seen an annual revenue increase from our first-year winners of 41%. And we've also seen an employment-based increase from those companies of 51%. And the majority of those hires being Detroit-based hires, right? And so we don't have the data just yet locked down from the winners from last year because they're still plugging away and they just received the money not too long ago. But those first-year winners from 2017, they're really making up a lot of noise and really doing some pretty phenomenal stuff with the capital. And they're on track to continue to do great things even this year.
Why is it important to hold these kind of things in Detroit? You know, so someone might look at this and go, there's so many challenges that are happening. Why does this matter? And how does this add to the picture?
I mean, we did this with the understanding that, you know, the lifeblood of a growing business is going to be capital, right? Businesses need capital to flourish. And the city needs a strong small business ecosystem for it to be able to thrive and create jobs, right? We know that statistically speaking, small businesses hire other, locals. And so if we really want to create jobs, if we really want to make it so that people can, who may not even be able to get a job, can create opportunities for themselves, we have to invest in our small businesses in Detroit because it's going to take a number of different people from big businesses to small businesses to everywhere in between to really be able to make our local economy flourish.
So do you have any tips for anybody, anything that you can share that people should know and think about when they're going to put this application together?
Take your time. Don't rush through the application. If you feel like you want to get help, ask for help from maybe another small business in the city, somebody that you trust to look over your application for you. If you have a question about something that's on the application, reach out to us. All our contact information is on our website at DetroitDemoDay.com. But the biggest advice that I would give people is to take their time with going through the application. Don't rush because there's going to be a lot of folks that apply to this, and you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward.
The deadline for submissions is April 22nd. More details are at DetroitDemoDay.com.
With that, I'm Sven Gustafson. If you like what we're doing, please consider becoming a member at dailydetroit.com/join.
And I'm Jer Stays. Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.